Hi peeps. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to use acrylic paints. And if it looks like my palette is messy, it's because I already did one and I didn't like how the video came out. So I'm starting fresh. Okay, so as you can see, I have here a set of acrylics. There's 12 of them. This is the package it came in. It says Essentials Acrylic. This is what we provide to you from the art department. If you need to get a set of acrylic paints, you can go to the Scott's Gym and there'll be sets available to you. Okay, these are not bad paints, but I found out they're not as opaque, non-see-through as I would like, so I had to start the whole thing again. So I'm going to show you how to draw an apple, paint an apple. And what we're going to do is just basically learn how to use paint, acrylic paint, while we're doing it. So when I create a palette, when I build a palette, I don't put every single color of the rainbow on there. I put a very limited amount at a time, and you'll see this also in the other video I do. And since I'm doing a green apple, I'm just going to put some greens down there. Okay, I might put a yellow, and always black and white. Now, if you are going to buy your own acrylic paints, you're going to find that they can be a little expensive. So if you don't have the most important paints you should buy are red, yellow, and blue, because those are your primary colors, white and black. And if you have all those colors, then you can actually create every single color in the rainbow. So if you're buying paints on your own, always start with your primary colors: red, yellow, blue, white, and black. Okay, titanium white, it'll have all these, it'll say Mars black and all these weird names. Try to get a cadmium red. They're a little more expensive, but if you see another red that you like, that's a little cheaper, you can get that too. Reds are a little iffy in paint. They always are. And you know, if you have extra, or if you'd like to buy a more complete set, start with your primary colors, then work into your secondary. Then the next grouping that you should buy would be green, purple, and orange. And then you kind of don't need any more than that. Okay, you might want to get a brown, a dark sienna or ochre, but you don't have to. So I have here 3 brushes. As you can see, one is a flat edge brush. The square brush is called a flat edge, okay? And then I have 2 round brushes. There's 2 brushes that come with the set that we provide for you, and they're actually really decent. I think they're fine. So yeah, so let's begin. I already have my palette kind of started because of my old thing, but I'll kind of do a little bit more. The reason I'm not starting a new palette is because I don't like to waste. So I have, when I paint, I don't build a palette for every single color in the rainbow. I do color by color. So right now, or maybe groupings of colors, like I'll do a palette of greens and blues, and then I'll do a palette of reds and oranges, so that it just makes it easier, and I think is just less wasteful. Also, if you want to save your palette, if you've mixed some colors and you really, really like them, then you cover it with foil and put it, tightly so there's no air getting in there, and put it in the fridge, and then it'll stay just fine. Okay, so this is kind of cool because, as you can see, I already have a light, medium, and dark. So once I get my color palettes down there, oh, I need some more white. White, if you buy this at a store, where is the thing? Oh, there it is. If you buy white at the store, buy a big tube of white, because white goes fast. Because you use it to blend, you use it for all kinds of things. So you don't need yeah, you want to get a larger one of these if possible, because mine is almost out. Okay, and then I already have a little bit of black there. I think that's black, yeah. So what I have here is the opportunity to make 3 different shades of the same color: a light shade, a medium shade, and a dark shade. Okay, and I have my water here, and I have my paper towel here, and I'm going to start. Okay, so really easy to make colors. We already did this a little bit, okay, at the very beginning. So this is my medium shade, and I'm pretty happy with that medium shade, but I did add a little bit of yellow to it, just because it just wasn't yellowy enough. It was kind of a little bluey green as opposed to a yellowy green. I know you probably can't see the difference, but I can see the difference. Okay, so now I'm going to actually create, and when you wash off your brush, be firm with your brush. Don't go, just don't go, oh, okay. I want to be gentle. Just, push it to the bottom and give it a good stir. And that will get all the paint out of the bristles, okay? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my light color. And I always start with light and then go darker because it's just easier that way. So I'm going to add white. I'm going to add the darker color to the lighter, okay? And you always kind of want to add the darker color to the lighter because the darker color is always a little stronger, okay? So besides having that color, I'm going to have a very, very light green as well, okay? So I have my light, my medium, and now my dark. And what I have there is green paint, and I'm going to take some more from my middle so you can see me mix it. And I'm going to add a dab of black to it, okay? Just a dab. A little dab will do ya. You don't really need a lot because black will be very strong and it will be very, see, I added it and I added a little too much. So no worries, just gonna add a little more green. Okay, now the good news with acrylic paint and all painting and pretty much all art is that, but no, not all art, but painting, yes, is that if you make a mistake, it's very, very, very easy to fix it. All you have to do is let it dry and just cover it, okay? If you find that you're having problems covering your paint with another color, you can, or your surface, it's see-through. Always add a layer of white. White is opaque, aka not see-through. So let's begin. I'm just going to use my medium color. Always start with your medium, and I'm just going to do the shape of an apple, okay? I'm not going big with it. I don't need it to be huge, okay? Just a little apple, okay? And I'm just going to do the shape. Now, if you have an apple to look at, that's great. If you don't, that's fine. You can always get an apple online if you need to, but we're not doing, real super realistic apples right now. We're just going to make an apple. Now, do you notice something? Do you notice that you can see my paint strokes here? That is something that you have to keep in mind, that when you paint, your strokes should follow the form, okay? If you don't, it's going to look funny. Like if I just did this, subtly, it doesn't look like an apple as much. So I definitely always want to make sure that my paint kind of flows in the direction so that, of whatever I'm drawing. So if I'm, for instance, if I'm painting water, I would paint going down, okay? I would, all my brush strokes would go down. I wouldn't go sideways with it unless the water was going sideways, okay? So I'm just loading color, loading it, okay? Now, I have a good start here, okay? And I kind of like the shape. Let me just, and you also want a nice clean line. You don't want your line to be fuzzy, okay? You always want a nice clean line on the back, on the edge of everything you do so that it just looks nice that way. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. Okay, so there it is. Ta-da! Wow. Okay, wash off my brush. And I'm just going to use this brush. It's working pretty well. Now I'm going to go on the outside edge to make it look like it's three-dimensional. And so what I'm doing is I'm just doing an edge here. As you can see, I'm adding it here all the way around it, okay? Make sure that there's no green popping out because then you lose the effect. So you can actually go around it and just go a little over it. But you definitely want it to be at the edge. So what I'm doing here is just making it look 3D by darkening the edges, because things that look 3D are usually lighter in the middle and darker on the edges, okay? So what I've done now is just basically done a bunch of dark edge. But it looks not very good, okay? So what I'm going to do now, and I'm actually going to bring the camera closer, so hold on. Now you can kind of see it close up. Okay, so as you can see, this doesn't look that great. So this is what I do. To blend it, I use a fairly clean brush. I just wipe it off with the paper towel. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to very gently go over that line where it meets the other color. Okay, so you see how I'm kind of doing that? I'm just fluffing it up there like that. Okay, let me get even closer. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Let me get that light away there. Okay, let's hopefully you can see this a little better here. Let me see if I should put the light on here. Probably not. Okay, so look. So what I'm doing is I'm blending that together on that edge. And it's kind of like, I think I already taught you kind of how to do this with markers. And the good news is once you start learning one thing in art, you kind of know how to do it in everything in art. So as you can see, I'm kind of blending it in. Okay, but it still doesn't look the way I want it to. So I'm going to wipe off my brush a little bit. Sorry, I'm going to do it over there. And then I'm going to continue very lightly, just kind of blending it with circular motions, just barely touching it. Okay. And I'm just going on that edge. And I take off the excess paint. So I'm always using a nice dry brush. Okay. See? Oops. That's all right. Nice dry brush. Okay. And as you can see, it's starting to blend really nicely. So I just go around that edge until I've blended. Okay, so that's how you blend acrylic paint. And you can blend one color into another that way and every way. So you just put one color, you put like your medium shade, your dark shade, you use a nice clean dry brush, and then you just go over the edge and voila, you have a nice blend. Okay, now I'm going to clean off my brush and I'm going to try to get the middle is going to be highlighted by a light color, okay? So I'm going to use my light green, and I'm just going to put it in the middle, okay? Wherever I want, kind of like around here. All right, and I'm going to follow the shape. Oh, my dog just snorted. I'm sorry if you heard that. He doesn't have good manners. And he has sinus issues, I think. Okay. So what I did here is I kind of followed the shape of the apple, and I put in a light color. You see how nice that looks? And already you can start to see that it's starting to blend, starting to give it a little three-dimensionality. But once I blend it, you're going to see it's going to work a lot better. So what I do here is, again, I start, and I usually blend the dark into the light. Okay? And the first stage, I'm just going to go around that edge and just kind of kill the edge. All right? You want to kill that edge. You don't want to see it anymore. No edges in the middle. All right, and then I'm going to just do my little curly Q paint stroke. And as I do that, that's a little too much over there. And again, I'm taking the excess off my brush so that it works better, okay? So as you can see, I'm just going on the around. I'm just going around and around that edge, okay? Nice. All right. It's kind of a dark apple, but that's okay. Okay. As you can see, it's starting to blend really nicely. And, you know, it isn't okay. I'm going to make the apple a little lighter. To me, it's just a little dark. So here, I'm going to put this green here again. And that's the thing is, like, once you're painting, all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I don't know. So I'm just adding that green, which means I'm going to have to fluff it again. But that's okay. Okay. And again, I'm going to clean off my brush, and I'm just going to blend that together there. Just so it's a little lighter. Okay. It's an apple at night. It's a disturbed apple of night, apple of the night. Okay. Alrighty. See how I'm going around that? I just take off my edge. And, you know, it takes a little patience. It takes a little practice. Patience and practice are your friends in art, okay? This is a skill. It's not a talent. So it's basically will reflect however much you practice is however it's going to look. And I'm going to make it a little darker in there because that's where the little stem is going to come from. So I'm just going to add a little thing right there, okay? Little happy face. And then I'm going to blend that in, okay? Taking off the extra as I go along, okay? Until I get kind of where I'd like it to look like. All right, not bad, not bad. Okay, So now I have kind of a blended apple, a very dark blended apple, but that's okay. We're happy with it. I'm not happy with this line though. This line is a little, eh. So I think I'm going to fix that a little bit here. And I like a nice clean edge to what I draw. Paint, excuse me. I don't want to be all wiggly. So as you can see, I'm going over it and I'm just helping it along. Okay, so guess what? I added paint, so I just want to make sure it's all blended in nicely and doing what it's supposed to do. Okay. So now I'm going to add a little highlight to it, and I'm going to use this light green again, and I might go here. Okay, so we're going to make a little happy face right here, and I might just use white. You see, I'm just going to put that in there, and I might use some yellow too. Okay, so I'm just dabbing it in there. Okay, so you see how that kind of looks really nice? I'm going to add a little white to it too. Yeah, nice. Okay, but it looks funny. It looks like it's like a smiley face, right? So guess what I need to do? I need to blend it out. So again, I dry off my brush, go on the edge, and it might take a couple passes before you get it blended the way you want. But you see how I'm doing those curly strokes? Okay, just curlifying it, taking off the extra as I go along. Okay, I'm going to continue doing so. Hold on, gotta wipe this off. There we go. Blend, blend. And now both paints have to be wet when you do this. If you're doing this on a dry surface, if the paint has dried, then it's just not going to work. Okay, there we go. So what I basically did, instead of highlighting it, I just kind of lightened it right there, which is okay. I'm going to bring that down. I kind of like that look. Okay. I kind of enjoy this. I don't kind of enjoy it. I hella enjoy it. Okay. Alrighty. Very nice. All right. Look at this apple. It's just rocking my world. Okay. So now I'm going to add some white, just white. Okay. And I'm going to give it its little shiny part here. A little shine. Okay. Oop. Blend that in a little bit. Leave it kind of a little shiny on top. I'm noticing that my paint is a little wet for me to, it's blending a little over blending. So I might have to let it dry a little bit. So I'm going to do that. And while that's happening, I'm going to just do the stem. Okay, so stem's going to come out here. Little stem. Has a little thing on the end like that, right? And then in the middle of that stem, I'm actually going to put a lighter color just so it gives it a 3D effect. Okay? Ooh, I'm liking it. Wipe off my brush. Bring that stem down. I'm going to darken that part here where it meets it. Okay. There we go. I'm going to make that a little darker. Even a little darker. Yeah. All right. I like my stem. Okay. So hopefully the paint has had a little chance to dry. And now I'm going to wash off my brush. You can hear it. You can't see it. And now I'm going to continue to try to add a little white. I want to get that shine no matter what. There we go. And so that sometimes happens. You have to, if it's not working, or if it's a little translucent, or if you're finding the paint isn't as covering the way you want it to cover, you just let it dry a little bit, okay? And then you'll find that it'll work. Okay. Yeah. All right. Again, just gonna blend that in. Try not to touch the top there. I got a little shine there. I'm going to add a little yellow just for the hell of it. All right, just to add a little interest there to my apple. And if you notice, I'm still always going in the direction of the apple, like whatever direction that's going into. And I blend it away. Okay, so here I need to blend a little bit, so I'm going to smush. Very gently touching it, okay? Barely touching it. In art, it's called licking it. Don't ask. Just is. Okay? Where you barely touch it just so it blends. All right, I think my apple is kind of done. I'm going to bring it a little farther away. Okay, I'm going to just darken this edge a little bit here and just make this line really crisp. And if you notice, I'm using a smaller brush because I just wasn't happy with how that other brush was working for me, okay? I just want to make this a little smoother because it's kind of a wrinkly old apple. There we go. And now I'm going to stir that in just a little bit there. Okay, so you don't see that. Now, instead of doing a whole, backgroundy kind of thing, I think I'm just going to do a shade coming down from it. So you kind of do the shading. As you can see, I'm shading it in purple. Just do the shade in a dark color and a contrasty color. You can do a background if you want, but I'm just going to do a little shade. All right, and just put the purple in there. Just to give it some pizzazz. All right. And as you can see, the purple's not covering it the way I'd like it to, but I'll be patient. It'll happen. Patience and practice. That was my dog again. There we go. Nice. So I'm going to use a bigger brush now that I'm not at the edge here. Yeah, so I just kind of did a little shadow just to give it some interest here. As you can see, I kind of did it in the shape of the egg of the apple. All right, and now I'm going to actually use my bigger brush because I think it'll cover it better. Okay. There. Nice. Fun. Exciting. Okay. Okay, so to reiterate, do the outline. Do the shape of the apple first in the medium tone. Do an edge in the darker tone, okay? And I'm actually going to put some black here so you can actually really contrast that apple a little bit more. Then blend it by just slowly doing curlicues on the edge between the shades, okay? After you've done that, let it dry a little bit, and then you can put in your light color. And then once you put in your light color, you want to put in a shine if you want one, okay? This is for an apple. Okay. And that is that. Hold on. I could kind of keep doing this forever. Nice. Okay. That's my apple. Let me get this out of the way. Oh, crap. There. I'm pretty happy with it. Let's see if it lights up a little better. Yeah, I'm kind of happy with it. It's a dark apple, but it's moody. It's a moody apple. So that is how we use acrylic paint. Medium, light, dark, blend, water, paper towel, patience, and practice. Enjoy. It's fun. Bye, peeps. Actually, I'm just doing one more thing so you can see it close up, kind of. I have to blend something here a little bit. Hold on. Not happy with that. Let me just blend. Okay. Now I'm happy. Here it is in its glory. I'm kind of holding it up so you can see it better with the light. I'm really happy with it. Yeah, it's a fun apple. Okay, now we're finished. All right. hold on, let me just hold it one more time and keep it steady so that you don't like, because I've been moving it around a little bit. There we go. Nice. Okay, bye.